All right, here are the next ones, the answers to 5 through 9. My best advice for these is whenever you get a problem, draw it and see what happens. You'll see that's what I'll do. So 2 right angles are congruent if their legs are congruent. So I'm going to draw 2 right angles, and I'm going to draw their legs are congruent. These are their legs, the sides that are attached to the right angle. Well, yeah, always, because this is side, angle, side. So this would be always true. 2 triangles are congruent if their corresponding congruent parts include 2 sides and an angle. Well, that's different. Let's see. I have 2 triangles, and it doesn't say that they're right triangles. So let me get rid of this. And are congruent if their corresponding congruent parts, 2 sides and angle. Well, if the 2 sides and the angle are right here, then it would be. But if the 2 sides and the angle were like this, then these wouldn't be congruent because this would be SSA as opposed to SAS. So it really depends. So this would be sometimes true. 2 triangles are congruent if their corresponding congruent parts include 2 angles and the included sides. So let's see. 2 angles and the included side, yeah, always, because that is the ASA postulate. Always true. 2 right angles are congruent, so now we have 2 right angles in the triangles are congruent if corresponding leg and the adjacent acute angle are congruent. So let's see what that means. Okay. Let's see. Their corresponding legs, so they would have a leg that's corresponding to each other, and the adjacent acute angle. So that means that these angles over here would also be congruent. Okay. Well, see what you have. This would be always true because if you look over here, you have ASA. Next one, 2 triangles are congruent if all 3 corresponding angles are congruent. No, because just because angles are congruent does not mean the whole triangle are congruent. But you can have 2 triangles where all the angles are congruent, but they would have to have a corresponding side also that is congruent. So this would also be sometimes true.